We have breaking news in the NHL. The Vegas Golden Knights have fired their head coach, Peter Deboer. Plus, we also have a new head coach in Long Island. We'll discuss that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some breaking news from the NHL. We have another coach casualty here as the Vegas Golden Knights have decided to move on from head coach Peter Deboer. Now, it's believed that Deboer had one more year left on his contract, around $3.25 million. So that's certainly a lot of money to pay somebody not to work from you. And the Vegas Golden Knights here, in my opinion, prove again that they're pretty shrewd and willing to make tough decisions, I guess you could say, when it comes to their roster and obviously staff and personnel. I mean, certainly I'm not really sure the rationale here, because for the most part, everybody around the organization commenting on their season and not making the playoffs has been kind of shifting the reasoning and the blame for this as to the large amount of injuries that they suffered this year, which certainly is not just an excuse. It's a reality. They did have a lot of games missed from top players. I mean, they knew when they acquired Jack Eichel that he was going to be out for a fairly substantial period of time. They'd have him basically, hopefully, around end of February, March for the rest of the year. And even he comes in, started off decent, but then had a broken thumb that he played through for the remainder of the season too. I mean, Mark Stone missed a lot of time this year. The captain, arguably their overall top player. You've got Max Pacioretty, missed a lot of time this year. Alex Martinez missed majority of the season. Robin Leonard was dealing with multiple injuries, and by the end of the year just couldn't go anymore when it was right down to the wire. They really did miss a lot of manpower this year, which certainly is more than fair to suggest why they couldn't battle through it. Now, of course, they spent lots of money. They were well above the cap with the long-term injury reserve, and they're not going to likely have much of a choice but to make some tough roster decisions as well to become cap compliant, regardless of how they feel about players. Something's got to give here. They can't keep everybody, because they'd be well over the cap by a lot of money. So certainly interesting to see here in Vegas's short existence. This is the first time they've missed the playoffs, and they've gone through two coaches, so they're going to be on their third coach here in just over 5 years, which is kind of mind-boggling considering the amount of success that team has had. Most teams, you would think, missing the playoffs once in 5 years, and within that, you're including a Stanley Cup final appearance and a couple of playoff runs that were deeper. Obviously, recently they lost out early, and then this year they missed, but still, I don't know. To me, I think they are creating a habit of overreacting. I mean, when they saw an opportunity to move on from Gerard Gallant to grab Peter Deboer when he became available out of San Jose, and now look at Gallant. He's thriving in New York, and he's in the second round of the playoffs. Deboer is out in Vegas. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm listening to Deboer end of season. He certainly seemed to think that injuries played a major role, which I agree with 100%, and that they could come back with mostly the same roster and be an entirely different outcome next season. I do wonder the relationship with Robin Leonard, because I know based on the comments and the goaltending situation, I wonder if that might have played a role. We don't know. Probably never will get confirmation of that 100%. But Peter Deboer has a long history of being a really good coach. He's coached in multiple teams. He was in San Jose. He was in New Jersey. He's going to probably be, well sought after to get another opportunity. I have no doubt about it. I mean, Vegas might be also looking around saying, geez, a guy like Barry Trotz suddenly became available. Maybe we should go in that direction. That's exactly what they did with Gallant when they brought Deboer in too, right? They think there's a nice shiny object out there that they have to go get, and they want to go get it and replace the other guy, right? That's their pattern. I mean, I can't say 100% certainty that's what they're doing, but that's their pattern so far in their short NHL history. So time will tell if they do go after Barry Trotz, but Barry Trotz is not going to have any shortage of interest and opportunities. I would think Philly and Winnipeg would also be highly interested, and obviously Winnipeg would be kind of like a homecoming in a sense, so maybe he wants to do that. We don't know what Barry Trotz wants to do. He's only been out of Long Island for a few days. So time will tell what direction Vegas goes in. In a few hours' time, Kelly McCrimmon is expected to speak to the media, and maybe we'll get a little bit more clarity on that situation. Now, we do have a new head coach also announced today for the New York Islanders. So Lou Lamoriello has named assistant coach Lane Lambert the new head coach for the Islanders organization. Of course, he just dismissed Barry Trotz not long ago. Lambert's already been working there. A familiar face. We know Lou likes familiarity. And clearly, there is some speculation that this might have been a move to make sure he didn't leave. Now, of course, Barry Trotz had, I believe, another year to go on his contract. And Lou might have been thinking with the way the organization was trending with the team, given Trotz, been there a while and what the normal shelf life is for a coach, that Lambert was probably going to be the next head coach. Like he's kind of, he's been a long time NHL assistant coach and he's highly regarded around the league. He's interviewed for multiple positions and there's a good chance he would have been offered a head coaching position, at least I think, if not this offseason, then within the next one for sure. And I know Jeff Merrick on his program today was talking about the fact that he believes this was an effort to make sure they didn't lose him, that they were probably going to be, expecting to move on from Trotz in the next year or two, and they wanted him to be the next head coach because he's highly respected. They look at him as a real good good coach, good guy they want to have as an opportunity there. And if they didn't give him the chance to be head coach now, that he was going to be likely gone. And Merrick believed that there was going to be an opportunity offered to him in Detroit. So, of course, we can probably never 100% confirm that, given that he's now the head coach of the New York Islanders. But he's an extension of Barry Trotz, though. So I do wonder if you're not going to see a major shift in systems and philosophy. I do think he has to find a way to unlock Matthew Barzal. Lou has to do his job to add a piece or two, make a few changes to kind of rejig the roster a little bit, because they do need some changes in that regard. But Lambert's worked with Trotz for a long time. He's worked with them in Nashville, he worked with them in Washington, and he's worked with them here on Long Island. So certainly, like I said, they're good friends. They work together a long time. Clearly, they see the game very similarly, but we'll have to see if he can do things just a little differently to unlock this Islanders team that, as much as they've been good defensively, they have struggled to score, and they do have some offensive weapons there that you would think would be able to put more of an opportunity to more pucks in the net. So we'll see where things go, but some interesting news here today in the coaching front. I'm sure that the coaching carousel is far from over as teams are eliminated from the playoffs. I'm sure that teams will be reevaluating and deciding if they need changes or not. So let me know your thoughts on the firing in Vegas, the hiring in Long Island, and we'll go from there in the comment section. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis on all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.